You're listening to the No BS Bishop podcast, hosted by Bishop Randy Dean. This podcast is alive to love, and all lesser values are potential BS. Now here's your host, Bishop Randy Dean.
Welcome, and one more solid welcome to you. I'm Bishop Randy Dean. It's always my pleasure, my joy, my delight to be with you here for another episode of the No BS Bishop. I'm alive to love. I simply believe all lesser values than love easily slide into the category of BS. For me and the purposes of this broadcast, BS is bait and switch, but it could also come under other categories as they might cross your mind and mine. But my point is, let's live authentically through love. Love is where truth meets us. Truth is where love meets us. And that's my topic for today, where love and truth meet. So we'll get to that in just a few moments. I'm excited about this topic. I have a lot in store in my mind and heart. But before we get there, and before I pop the cork on that and I can't get back to how I need to structure this half an hour, I do a couple of things here to keep me between the white lines of the metaphorical highway. One of the things that I do is I lead you in a creed that I've written, creed that I live by, and I call it simply Love's Creed. So I'll read that for you in just a moment in total. Then we'll go back and I'll ask you to repeat after me, okay? Then after Love's Creed, we will share together in the Lord's Prayer. That dynamic meditation is life-changing if we allow it. Really has something to do with my topic today, where love and truth meet. So the Lord's Prayer will follow Love's Creed, and we'll get this show on the road, as they say. All right, back to Love's Creed. Here it is in total. Then I'll go back and I'm going to ask you to repeat after me. I'm alive to love. I am not on this earth for hate. I'm alive for love. I'm not breathing, eating, and sleeping to regain energy for causing pain. I am alive with plans, dreams, and designs locked into anything and everything that is love. I am unavailable for anything less than love. Okay? Boy, that creed gives you a whole chunk of life to live, doesn't it, if you consider it carefully? All right, here, let's go back through it. I'll give you a chunk, and a little small chunk, and ask you, repeat after me, if you will. Here we go. I'm alive to love. I am not on this earth for hate. I'm alive for love. I'm not breathing, eating, and sleeping to regain energy for causing pain. I am alive with plans, dreams, and designs locked into anything and everything that is love. I am unavailable for anything less than love. I would invite you to give me a shout on my email, randydeanministries@gmail.com. Randy Dean Ministries, all one word, all lowercase, @gmail. I'd invite you to send a request for this, because I really would love to put the hard copy of Love's Creed in as many hands as I can, for no other reason except the intrinsic value written therein. I'm not trying to raise any funds out of it. I simply want you to carry on with this, whether you listen to this broadcast every week or not. I want this to be in your possession. So let me know if you'd like a copy, and I would be happy to send you a copy of Love's Creed. Now, on to the Lord's Prayer. I like to tell people, because it's important out of the consideration of love in my mind and heart, I like to tell people that I know that many of you don't know the Lord's Prayer by heart. I know many of you do, but I also know there's a certain sizable group of people that you're embarrassed to go to church because you're afraid you're going to have to say the Lord's Prayer, and you don't know the Lord's Prayer or Apostles' Creed or whatever else that they may do there. And so you're tired of faking it. Well, I call that BS. I call that bait and switch. You're getting baited and switched. You're baited in, and then they're looking at you like, come on, can you say this? Well, no, I can't say it because I haven't been to church in 100 years, and I don't know the Lord's Prayer. My point is this. If you don't know it, there is no shame in it, and all I'm asking is that you let me lead you in the Lord's Prayer, and if you do know it, repeat with me, but if you don't, listen in, tune in. Just grab a hold of my hand and let me walk you along the pathway of this beautiful contemplative meditation from the words of Jesus. When he was asked, teach us to pray, Jesus said these words. Now join me, please. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever. Amen. So that contemplation, beautiful, magnificent, most prayed prayer in all of human history, right from the heart and mind of Jesus. Those words will really help construct your priorities and values in this life. Just a little quick aside here. Let me chase a rabbit. All right, here we go. People say, have you prayed the sinner's prayer? Have you received Jesus in your heart? Well, first of all, when Jesus was asked, how should we pray? He didn't give them the sinner's prayer. When Jesus was asked, teach us how to pray, he didn't say anything about receiving him into your heart, and if you should die, will you go to heaven or hell? Nothing like that. He gave him the words that we know as the Lord's Prayer. So to that end, I like to tell people, if the Lord's Prayer is the one thing you can manage, whether you read it or you know it by heart, that's the only sinner's prayer, quote unquote, that I'm interested in. And even at that, I'm not too worried about your eternal destiny. I'm more concerned about your give us this day our daily bread. That's the concentration of Jesus' prayer. All right, I better get off that, or I'll spend the next half an hour on that subject. I promised you today, the subject for today is where love and truth meet. This is an important conversation that really deserves a lot of attention, and I know I've carried a lot of attention for it in my own life, because I've spent a lot of time in the past decade or more focused on the subject of love. I've been criticized, I've been lightly attacked, I've been brutally attacked, I've been people trying to be all codependent to help fix, manage, control me and change me and recruit me, convert me away from this awful subject I call love. And their concern for me is, well, but Pastor Randy, if we love people, we have to tell them the truth. If out of love, we've got to tell them how to live. Because we love them, we've got to warn them with truth. And I've heard various iterations of that so many times in the past decade. I should probably keep a little diary of how they worded it so that I can help you understand that people are really more concerned about their version of truth than they are about living authentic, simple, powerful, lifelong love. Here's where I don't know if you catch where I'm going here. You feel my passion? Love is truth. Truth is love. Now, when people say, and they quote a Bible verse, speaking the truth in love, we may grow up into Christ in all things. That's from the book of Ephesians. I have read that. I told a gentleman the other day, I said, listen, I got Bibles that I've read that are older than you, so please bear with me if I'm not impressed with your version of the Bible. My goal in living and speaking and teaching and carrying this value of love forward, my goal is to help people understand that we have genuinely left out this significant nuclear core energy of what Christ left behind called love. We've exchanged it for being people who spout and declare and thump our chest and thump our Bibles and routinely berate, belittle, shame, and blame people with our truth. And then we follow it by saying, no, be careful. We follow it by saying, I'm only telling you the truth because I love you. And I know so many people, myself included, who don't feel quite so loved with that truth. They don't feel so much warmth and cuddles about, you just told me your truth because you love me. How come it is I feel beat up? Well, how come it is I feel like you don't really like me, much less love me? How come it is I feel like you just want to punch me in the face with your version of truth? And then wrap it up with a pretty bow and say, well, that's in love. My pursuit here has been for 6 years to help people understand that love is what truth is composed of. And if at the end of my quote-unquote truth, love has not been fully, thoroughly digested and communicated, then that truth isn't worth speaking. I draw from no lesser truth than 1 Corinthians 13, where Paul makes it clear. I can prophesy and move mountains with my truth, but if I have not love, it is nothing. I think even the rough and tumble, double up his fists and fight anybody come at him, the Apostle Paul, what a tough dude he was, beat up, stoned, chunked out of town, rolled in the dirt, dragged through all kinds of trials and tribulations, shipwrecked, you name it. Paul went through it, baby. But here he is in this tenderness of this magical 1 Corinthians 13 that gigantically proposes that if at the front and at the last of your truth, if there is not love, it is nothing. It's not something. It's not even admirable. It's nothing, Paul said. And this is why Paul is who Paul is. He has, he's got trainloads of truth. I mean, half the New Testament is written by Paul. But his own self-awareness taught him that love must be where truth is enfolded and held and managed, where truth gets regularly downsized, if you will, to a discernible, digestible package. Truth. Well, I tell you, what a powerful word. I like to ask people, whose truth are we talking? Are we talking your Lutheran truth? Are we talking your Catholic truth? Are we talking about your Pentecostal truth? And by the way, I grew up a Pentecostal. Are we talking about your Baptist truth? Or are we talking about your Methodist truth? Are we talking about, okay, you get my point, right? I don't wear that out any further. Truth is in the eye of the beholder. Truth is what we all seem to have a firm grip on and nobody else knows it. Or at least a minimal amount of other people know it. And then we go in a search for that minimal amount of people and we all collectively gather together and we congratulate ourselves on how much of the truth we know, but they don't know it. Poor them. Poor little them who out there don't know our truth. But then on the other side of it, you go to them and they got their truth. And they're holding on tight for truth. They're under assault from those who think they have the truth over there on the other side. And they're batting down the hatches. They're rolling up the windows. They're sealing the doors, making sure you can't get in to steal our truth. And on ad nauseum we go, right? There's so many parts of truth that are genuinely, personally experienced and carried by us. I don't deny that. I have truths that I deeply value, I deeply treasure. I have truths in my life that I've discovered, and I've come to believe that those truths are healthy, those truths are balancing, those truths are constructive for me. But because love is my first, my middle, and my last, because I am alive to love. I'm alive with plans, dreams, and designs locked in anything and everything that is love. I'm unavailable for anything less than love. So while I have truths and I treasure them, I also recognize that love is my first, love is my last. And to that end, I will carry truth in the vehicle of love. And I will see to it that my truth is not a battering ram to fix, manage, control, convert, use, manage you, to fix you because my truth is bigger than yours. That's, by the way, that list of fix, manage, control, convert, convince, that's a list of codependency. And codependency is a mental illness. It's a disease where codependent people like myself, hi, I'm Randy, I'm codependent in recovery, where codependency drives our priorities in our lives, we're simply in a goal not to love you, but to change you. Because you so need everything I've got, you're too dumb to live your life without me fixing, managing, controlling, converting, convincing, arguing. You get the point, right? So that codependency actually destroys the potential of love. So where does love and truth meet? Let me give you a practical illustration of it. Where does love and truth meet? Truth is this valued discovery that comes to every human being. We all have our truths that we've been impacted by or we've discovered. Little adages we carry along with us. One of my adages is advice we listen to. I'm trying to decide whether I want to say it or not, but here it is. Advice we listen to, but pain we obey. And my little adage there, my little truth that I carry around with me, really simply has been my experience. My experience says, wow, I've had a lot of advice come my way, but most of that advice never became valuable to me until I invalidated it by my behavior, or I decided, I don't need your ideas. I can do better all on my own. And then I go out there and smash my poor little emotional self up against a wall. I've called myself God's crash test dummy. It's like I have an idea of what I think is truth, and I thump my little chest and I go running smack into a wall. God picks me up and looks at that crash test dummy and says, wow, man, let's not run him into that wall at 60 miles an hour anymore. It's going to do damage. Poor boy's going to lose his memory. Advice we listen to. Pain we obey. When Mama said, that stovetop, little boy, 4-year-old, 5-year-old, see that stovetop? It's hot. Don't touch it. There's the advice. It's good advice, right? That advice is lasting and it's loving. Well, the little boy or little girl decides, you're just playing with me. I'm big and bad and tough. I can touch anything I want to. Well, then the little boy or little girl reaches up, touches that stovetop. There's no pan on there. There's nothing that tells me it's hot. I can see for myself that this isn't hot. Little boy, little girl touches the stovetop, and guess what? It's hot. And they drag their hand back so fast you'd think it was a whip. They slide their hand off there in a hurry before they lose any more skin or get any more blisters. And they're shaking their hand and they're crying, or maybe they're trying not to cry out loud because Mama will show up and say, I told you that was hot. So here the little boy, little girl is, and guess what's happened? Advice they listened to, but pain they obeyed. The pain of that hot stovetop was a point of obedience. And they dragged away from that, realizing, Mama's not so stupid after all. And then the next time a stovetop shows up in a little boy, little girl's mind, they know I got a hold of some truth just not long ago. So that's a little adage I carry with me. I've given a lot of people that adage as a point of pastoral wisdom, a pastoral advice. You can do a lot of things with it, and I just did a little 3 or 4 minute ditty with it. But that truth, if even that valuable and waterproof truth. I mean, that thing will set in a bowl of water and not soak up a drop because it's waterproof. Advice we listen to, pain we obey. It's true, 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 and more true. But if love is not carrying it, if I'm walking around with that advice, smacking everything in the head with my little hammer of truth, acting like I'm the big, baddest king of all truth in all the world, well, that truth, delivered with no love, becomes meaningless. It becomes just me thumping my little proud chest, acting like nobody else in the whole wide world is as smart as me because I have truth. Mama would have protected me from that stove, not because Mama needs to thump her chest or Mama needs to prove how big and bad and right she is. Mama loves me. Mama doesn't want to see me hurt. Mama has seen other babies, or maybe she herself has been blistered and badly burned. So Mama brings me to that adage of advice we listen to, pain we obey. And Mama knows that little Randy, I need to give him truth that is carried in the vessel of my love, because I know he'll hurt himself. And at the end of that adage of truth, however simplistic it may be, I know this, that if little Randy reaches up and touches a hot stove to prove that he can do it no matter what Mama taught me, I know that my Mama would have some modicum of compassion and get me to if I need to, a doctor, get me to some medication, put something on there, blow with her sweet breath, or kiss my forehead, or even kiss the little owie, or whatever it may be. Truth and love meet. And then that truth now becomes more than just how smart somebody was. That truth becomes love. Love was guarding me, being a guardian for me. Love was willing to pay the price of being ignored. Because see, when love is carrying a truth, love isn't demanding its way. That's 1 Corinthians 13. Love does not demand its way and build a brick wall in front of a hot stove and say, you can't touch that. Love gives the truth with the freedom for the discovery. Now, from the small child and the hot stove illustration all the way up to every legal demand we put upon the world around us because we love them so much, we've got truth to pound into their heads. All the way there, when we recognize that we're not motivated with our truth by love, we're not giving that truth out of love, we're giving that truth because we are absolutely hell-bent on being right. And ladies and gentlemen, that is not love. When we are determined to end the day by being right and you wrong, that ain't love. That's divisiveness. That's pride. That's arrogance. When I need to make sure you know I have truth and you don't, I'm not giving you any kind of love. I'm giving you my pride. I'm giving you my arrogance. And love knows that truth will win when love is the vehicle. And love has the patience. 1 Corinthians 13, love is long-suffering, patient, willing to be argued against without fighting back. Because the greatness of love recognizes that if I sacrifice love on behalf of my version of truth, that is a destructive path, and it will lead to the nowhereness of lovelessness. Well, my time is running out. I've got so much more to share here. Maybe I'll carry this on next week. But I am convinced that when we are people of love, we respect others' sovereignty, the other person's need to self-discover so much that my truth is not so important that I need to be known for truth more than I am known for love. Just because I love doesn't mean I get to tell you how to live your life. In fact, because I love, I'll stay away from telling you how to live your life. All right, well, I got to bring this in for a landing, and I want to lead you in an exercise of breathing. To breathe well is to live well and love well. On the count of 3, take the deepest breath you can, hold it down against your belly, and count to 3, and then exhale in the same amount of time. 1, 2, 3. Inhale. 1, 2, 3. Exhale. Breathing is more than just an exercise. Breathing is living, right? So to the end that we breathe well and we get out of this shallow breathing of our adrenalized and hyper activity life, but we live well by breathing well and slowing down processes all around us, we will learn the value of a life of serenity grounded in love. Second exercise I want to challenge you in, and I'm infamous for this. Some people find it deeply uncomfortable, and some people find it deeply challenging. And I hope all people find it deeply challenging. I really do. And some people just want to jump up and down, find the first person they can, and exercise using the 3 most valuable, holy, magical, and charmed words in the human language. Giving full attention and eye contact to somebody and saying, I love you. It's weird. It's awkward. Yes, I know. I would not give you this advice if I had not been carrying it on as a practice for some time now, but I know this. You never know but what that one person that you encounter has never heard those 3 words with such intentionality. Or if they have never heard those words with any kind of intentionality, once it arrives, it's pure magic. It really lifts a soul. There's an old gospel song, Love Lifted Me. And that exercise of saying to somebody, just like I described it, I love you, can change a life. All right, well, on that note, I just want to remind you of a couple of things here going forward. That is that the biggest mistake we make is thinking we still have time. So be present, be kind, love more, love now. I don't know who the author of that is, but it is powerful. Biggest mistake we make is be present, be kind, love more, love now. Mother Teresa, one of my all-time favorite saints, said these words, go into the world today and love the people you meet. Let your presence light new light in the hearts of others. When you enter a room, let it be known love just walked in the door. Well, I'm not Mother Teresa, but I'm Daddy Randy, and Daddy Randy says it this way. Rise and shine. Do something beautiful today, people. The greatest beauty I can challenge you to do is to love. Do something beautiful, because ugly, oh baby, ugly is getting done to death. It's time for beauty to save our world. Let's be people of beauty everywhere we go, every person we meet, every door we open, every thank you we give, every you're welcome we offer, every how are you today? Every moment, every second of every day, let's make the clear decision to live in and walk in love. Now go out there and rise and shine, y'all. I'm Bishop Randy Dean. Happy trails and God bless.
And this has been the No BS Bishop podcast. We're on all major streaming platforms. Keep tuning on in. We'd love to have you join us.